Okay, check. Here we go. Make sure you guys can hear me. Let's get you on screen. Check. 1, 2. All right. Are we good? Are we live? I think we should be streaming live to uh, YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. All right. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to follow on either YouTube or Rumble there. If you're new, welcome to the show. I usually give everybody a couple moments to get it together. Looks good. Okay. Good. Excellent. Go here. Check out your comments. Let's see in the comments where you're from. Again, we just take a few minutes before we get underway, get everybody in and say hello, make sure all the technical stuff is working. These live things can go either way sometimes. So, all right. Hello, guys. Hello, Mark. How are you? Across the pond from the UK. You guys got your own set of problems over there. Whew. I'm telling you. All right. All good. Florida's in the house. Okay. Hopefully your football team won today. And your baseball team, I think the Mariners and the Blue Jays are playing game 6 today, if I'm not mistaken. Unless they've already played it. I don't think so. And of course the Dodgers are waiting. Boo, LA. All right. So it's been again, we're just taking a few minutes saying hello, get your comments on the screen. And then what I'll do is, obviously, you've seen me kind of promoting tonight's show. It's going to be a little bit different, probably different than anything I've ever done before. Something that's been on my heart for a little while now. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. There will be a disclaimer I'll say with this show once I get underway here. And again, that disclaimer will be something to the likes of listen to the entire show before you decide to click off, if you will. Yeah, I'm sure I'm probably going to. It's nothing new to me. Get some hate, if you will. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Again, we're just taking a few minutes to get everybody in here. Sorry, I just had to check my phone. My daughter just landed. I told her, I said, I'm going to be on the air, but text me when you land. She's coming home from that cruise with my grandsons. So looking forward to hearing all about it. Okay. Yes, someone says my Panthers beat the Jets on their turf. There you go. Good. Dana says, I have a bad feeling we're headed for civil war. I'd like tonight's show to be, once I get underway, to be interactive tonight. When I'm talking, since I'm pretty much a one-man show here, I'll say, let's go to your comments now. So you can comment all you want. And I encourage that greatly, because I enjoy the community and the camaraderie that we have, even though I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into things tonight. I think we'll be okay for the most part. I know there will be a small percentage of people who will probably even unfriend me and block me during this broadcast, and they'll probably talk crap about me too. That's nothing new. I mean, anybody who does what I do, I mean, we get it every day, so it's nothing new. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, this is pretty good. This is a good comment here because The name of this show is No BS. Okay. Obviously, a play on my initials, Bruce Snyder, and obviously, no BS, what it means. You're not going to get any BS from me. You haven't. Okay. I don't come on here and BS anybody. I just try to give truth. And when I have shows based on things which are my opinion, I try to deliver a strong opinion based on some connections, facts as well, or current events that make sense. Okay. Saying that, the comment below, you have the cutest little grandsons, and I appreciate that. Look, every single day, and I know all of you are in the same boat. I'm sure you think about your children or your grandchildren. Oh, um, I love my two I have two children. I have a son and a daughter, um, but they're already grown, if you will. And of course, I'm always going to be there for them. They're still young, still. But my two little ones, they're just entering the world. I mean, my oldest is in first grade only, and the other one hasn't even started school yet. So when I do this, um, besides the fact that this is my job, I do this for them. And when it comes to God and country, um, I'm all about it, and I'm the real deal. You know. Um, so anything that whatever I do, and the show hasn't even really started yet, but anything I do, um, every single day, I have those two little guys at the forefront of my mind, and I think about them going into school, and I'm already thinking about my youngest Ashton being in the first grade. And I'm like, I just want to make sure. And I'm glad he entered school now and it wasn't born earlier because he would have been in a bad situation. I just want him to be taught right. So, and we is the key word here tonight. We have a lot of work ahead of us. And this is kind of like what this show is about. Okay. Um, all right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. Let me get to my notes. I got a few notes here. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get the show started. Welcome to the show. I'm gonna take the comments off the screen momentarily here. If you can listen to me in your car, or you can if you're working or whatever, you can just listen, and that's fine. I really don't have anything to bring on the screen tonight at all. I do have to take down the comments because they will be a distraction to me, but I will come back to your comments shortly, and we'll interact. And believe me, all of you are going to have a lot to say here. If you say it during um, when I'm talking, I'm going to miss it. Okay. But if you feel like repeating it when I say let's go to your comments, feel free to repeat it again so I can see it. I love the interaction part. I think it's very important. Um, look, a lot of people, and we'll get the show started right now. Look, a lot of people come here. All right. And I've developed something. I'll say this part before I take the comments off the screen. I've been blessed to develop something that's taken years of hard work. Um, and that is a social media kind of a base. I am not a large presence, if you will, where you have like your Benny Johnsons of the world and all that. I have my own little corner, and I cherish it. I really do. It's very important to me. And people over the years have come to the point where they respect what I have to say. Now, the reason I tell you that is because for me personally, that is a lot of pressure and responsibility. Okay. And one thing today I don't want to be is a hypocrite. I have come on here before, and I'm going to take your comments off the screen right now. We're going to get back to your comments, and please interact in the comment section. I'd be a hypocrite if I continued the way I'm going. So what I mean by that is, let me make sense to everything. Okay, first thing I'll say is 1 year from now, mark my words. 1 year from now, at this time, AI is going to be so difficult to discern. I'm talking about just the AI video. AI comes in many, many forms. The show is not about AI. This is just a way to lead into the show. And you're going to have a very difficult time because many people already do. And to me, they're obvious right now, the AI videos that are out there. Um, but to some people, they're not. And you're going to have a very difficult time coming to grips with what's real and what's not. So what is ahead of us in a year's time from now? Mark my words, I'm telling you, in about 1 year's time, give or take a month or so, it's going to be so good that you're not going to be able to know what's real and what's not, what's a lie. And why do I bring that up tonight? And the reason I bring that up tonight is because I teased this show about I'm going to do something tonight and talk about the truth and tell the truth. And that's what I'm going to do. And the reason I feel that this is the right time for that, a couple reasons. Because one, I said I need to give Trump about 6 to 9 months before I give him a report card. I'm going to do that this evening as well. And I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say things. There's really nothing bad to say, but there's a couple things that I'll say that some people might say, "Oh, I didn't expect to hear that from you." I'm going to talk about this movement, if you will, whatever. It's a very interesting word, um, but I'm going to tie it all together. So, what's one of the things that, again, what is so important to me is I've been very transparent over the years. Okay, and I've come on here and I've talked about my past, my recovery, and I'm a light. I know that, and I'm not ashamed of it because I know it helps other people. And I talk about overcoming addiction and alcoholism, um, which is very important to me. I couldn't do what I'm doing today. I wouldn't be able to articulate things the way I am right now if I wasn't cherishing my sobriety and the gifts that God has given me. I know that today. Um, and in my daily program, and this is the way it's been for a long time, one of those things is obviously doing a daily inventory and lying, okay, or not telling the truth per se, same thing. Um, would if I began doing that, it would be like a poison inside of me. It will eventually take me back out to pick up a drink or drug. That's just the honest truth. So I have felt comfortable for a number of years and this is not about me. I'm just setting this up about the person I've become. Um, and I'm particularly proud of myself today and scared, very scared. There's a part of me that's very scared. I don't live in that fear, but I'm scared to ever go back out there again and go through the hell that I once put myself through for a long, long time. And one of those things, for example, there are many things that tools that I have, and there are many things I have to stay away from, character defects, etc. One of those is lying, and that's why I'm always telling the truth out here. It's more than just having a base of people saying, go to Bruce's page, he tells the truth, which I appreciate that. But the reason I do it, not only because, yeah, sure, I'm running a platform and a news platform, but I'm doing it for myself. I can't afford to lie. Okay. That's why I'm always adamant about, truth telling over here. It's a very, very, there's a very fine line when that term came out, truth tellers. I was never comfortable with that because that term, truthers or truth tellers, um, got so out of hand that nobody was really holding anybody accountable. Now here we are many, many years later. So basically almost what we're almost 10 years later, 8, 9 years later. 10 really, if you want to look back upon it when Trump announced he was going to run. So we're going on about 10 years of, think about that 10 years of what we've been through. This movement started and then Trump gets elected, the craziness, we get exposed to the media, we see all the truth. They show their hand, they show their poker hand live to the world. And gets to a point they just didn't care anymore. They just was a full on assault at Donald Trump because the truth was being exposed. Okay. And then came something where, with technology as well, where the internet was running rampant, and now the internet is being used um, for the first time. Really, think about it. The internet was being used for campaigning, and Donald Trump took advantage right from the get go, to use social media as a platform. So it was really new to us to see a president or a presidential candidate use social media. And I think it was, no question about it, a great move by Donald Trump because the world was changing and the world's changing every day with technology. So, with that said, um, we get this movement going here, and then President Trump gets elected. And the next thing you know, you have this thing called Q, and that starts getting discovered early on in late. Matter of fact, it was right about now. It was October of 2017 that the first Q drop came out. Um, so we're talking 8 years ago. Um, and then that that was a slow rollout of getting exposed to that. It really happened on Twitter at that time. Getting used to that, but then once that COVID hit, the entire world got locked down, and then everybody started going down the rabbit hole. People started getting hip to Q. Um, I've always said going down that rabbit hole is quite an adventure, and it can be quite dangerous too if you stay down it too long, because you could lose your way mentally for sure, and you can get really lost. Um, because I've experienced it before, and I know. So people started to go down the rabbit hole, and a lot of it was the Save the Children, um, satanic, all that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. So let me say that now. There's nothing wrong with going down the rabbit hole. Look, I should probably say this before I go any further and I start getting into what I want to say. There are a lot of conspiracy theories out there. And one of those, I mean, several of those, I happen to agree with it being uh, a conspiracy. Definitely, JFK. Even though they're releasing the files, there's so many more questions. Second shooter, I'm not going to get into all that tonight. But there are plenty that I'm with you guys on all that. Um, I just prefer to use rational and logical thinking when I do that. So, with that said, like I said, what's very important to me, I put a post out as I'm going to get into this. I'm going to say some things. My faith is very important to me. My sobriety is very important to me. My family is extremely important to me. Those of I've lost my wife a few years ago, So all I have really left is, my children, grandchildren, if you will, um, and of course, mom still, who I take care of. But and my country is very important to me, and the truth is very important to me as well. When I started this whole thing, I just started posting online. I put aside everything else I was working on, had nothing to do with the news, and I'm posting. And I'm like, I better start getting a hold of this, because what's going on with this country, I can see there's something happening with Donald Trump as president. And that's when I dove in with both feet. And then next thing you know, I have a microphone, and then I have a podcast. It grows, it looks better, the quality, and I'm putting a lot of time and energy into everything. So now I got a base of people who I'm blessed to have, and I have people who turn to me often, asking me lots of questions, because um they believe in me. They respect my opinion. And again, like I said, that comes with a lot of pressure and responsibility. I don't take that lightly. You'll never, ever, ever see me coming on social media or a podcast and boasting or bragging at all like I'm holier than thou. There are plenty of people out there, and you know who they are, um, that other people put on a pedestal. So here's the bottom line. The things I'm about to say, here's what I want to say. I am not giving up in any way. I've never lied as far as being on the air here or posting on social media. Um, I've been very transparent. I've told the truth. Everything I preached about has been very real and authentic. My faith, my beliefs, all that. Okay. I've said something to you guys too. There's a big part of it. I said a new world awaits. I've said that many times. And we say things like trust a plan. I'm going to discuss that as well. Um, I still believe in that. But there's a part of it that I've never publicly stated. Okay. I have come on this show, and once in a while, I know I had one particular show. I threw a couple people under the bus, because it got to me. I'm just sitting back watching you guys get lied to, when I know for a fact that it's a bold-faced lie. And I treat you like my own mother. And that's the truth, because every day she asks me questions, and I have to say, "No, mom." One thing I always say, "Get off Facebook." That's my number one rule. Stay off of Facebook is my number one rule with her. I said it's BS, with the exception, and I say this humbly, go to your son's page, I would say, because I'm not putting out any crap. Um, there are some good people on Facebook. There's a few. But for the most part, I think it's disgusting. Uh, so I do. I treat everybody like that, as if you were my own mother, and I'm trying to protect. So, and I hope that doesn't come across the wrong way. It's just that um, I think getting the truth out and getting facts out is very important, especially what we're up against and what we've been up against for years. Okay. So here's the disclaimer. Hear me out first before unfollowing me, um, or going to trash me on the internet. Okay. So here's again, here's the topic of the show. No one is coming to save you. Okay. No one is coming to save us. This is the truth. I've known this all along. I'm going to go into detail about this. Okay. This movement, and if you want to compare it to where we go when we go all, is a wonderful thing. It brought us together. It unified us. It forced us to research things. Okay. Um, which is wonderful. And now people are paying a lot more attention uh, to many of the moving parts in the world of news and politics. Um, if you right now, I think a lot of people who are listening to the show could probably name off all the major players when it comes to Capitol Hill, in the White House, etc. If you go back before all this, pre Donald Trump, I bet not many people can name the amount of people you can name right now. So that is a good thing. It taught us to dig for the truth, awareness, um, and getting involved as well. So, again, no one's coming to save us is one thing. Okay. So I'll say this Donald Trump is not going to save us. And let me finish my statement on that. Um, he is doing exactly what needs to be done. Okay. I've never put my eggs in the basket all in Donald Trump. Uh, I knew this is going, I knew this a while back. And after seeing the way things go, that's why I'm always reserved um, about waiting things out. Just like now tonight, I said, I'm going to wait about 9 months before I even give an opinion on what Trump is doing and what it looks like to me. Uh, you've seen a lot of people just lose their patience from day two. Okay, maybe not day one, but day two, and people have been all over the place with fire Bondi, Patel, the Epstein files. It's madness out here. It is madness out here in internet land, complete madness. Okay. And what I'm seeing right now, we have a lot to deal with. Okay. Now, even though you saw all these people out at the protest yesterday and you seen that with your own two eyes, and there were a lot, I'll give them that, but it's really a small number compared to the amount of people who really voted in the last presidential election. We showed up in red wave numbers. So I'm not concerned about that at all. I'm really not. Somebody asked me what my thoughts were on the midterms yesterday, and I said because of they saw the turnout at the No Kings rally, and I said, "Well, I have nothing to worry about. I'm pretty confident in the midterms." So, anyways, so if we go back to Q, all right. So if I could set this up as best as I possibly can, the whole Q thing start, and again, I am no expert on it. I periodically put them out, and I will say this: it's very real. Let me explain that. Because Donald Trump is obviously putting out Q comms and connections, and so is Scavino. Those aren't accidents. They're a lot of times many perfect matches. So they're communicating with us. I mean, go to Donald Trump's True Social page. Look at the war paint. There's a Q around his nose. It's embedded in his nose. Okay. So it's there. He's using it. That has been a way for us to continually unite and stay together. But at the same time, it's driven some people madly off the deep end. But Q is real and it is also fake. I've said this before. I've known this for a while now because I realize that the enemy they're looking at every move that we do. They know what we're putting out there. They want to attack us and call us batshit crazy when we're putting out so many things. A lot of people have drifted away and started this movement this whole thing started. And this is the part where I get in trouble. This whole thing started with the Q movement, but then somewhere along the line, people started to not even look at Q. They just started to believe everything that people put out on the internet. And then something organically formed on the internet that had nothing to do with Q, but somehow got tied up with Q. And the media, the mainstream media, ran with it. Okay. And I saw that a few years ago. I realized what they were doing. So I guess the thing that I want to get off my chest here tonight, and I said I would tell the truth, is that one, like I said, nobody is going to come save us. We are going to have to save ourselves in the end. Now, let me finish explaining all that. All right. Q was a way to inform. It was definitely a way to inform, and it has its good sides as well. But I will say this, and I know I'm going to offend some people, and this is my opinion only. Maybe this will come back to haunt me, and I promise you, I will come back on the air and I will eat crow. And I'll tell you, you're right and I was wrong. But the reason I'm confident in doing this tonight and finally doing this tonight is because of the amount of time that has passed and the events that are unfolding and everything that I've been paying very close attention to makes sense to me now. Okay. JFK Jr. is not going to come out behind the magic curtain. People have not been dealt with and are dead or get mode. This nonsense going on online is exactly that. And these people are doing a disservice to what we call a movement. If there is a truther movement, then we need to back it up. The amount of people that I have blocked over time because they would come to my page and shove garbage down your throat in my comment section, and I'd ask them politely off screen through Messenger to not post that on my page, post it somewhere else. They took it so offensively. They were so offended by it that they start talking crap about me behind my back. They turn into a Democrat, a lunatic liberal. I'm not kidding. They literally have, because they couldn't have a rational conversation because I called out the world that you're believing. Okay. So again, these people aren't locked up in Gitmo. And I know what you're going to say. I'm not looking at the comments yet. So if you're saying something to me, I don't see it. I will see it when I go to the comments. This is no BS, and this is no BS with Bruce Snyder, and everything I'm talking to you about is bullshit. I have not said this because I knew that I would offend people. And I think the truth was I knew that I'd probably lose followers. And that is not who I am. Because once I start worrying about that, I've lost my way. So I've come clean to you tonight. And in the moment when I say we're going to go to the comments, I want to hear from you too. Now, if you're still listening and you're one of those people I'm talking about, and I just rocked your world, okay? Once I go to the comments, feel free to bash me, and I'll put it publicly on the screen. I have no issue with that. But right now, all this craziness going on with the talk that's still going on, and it still happens in my comment section. It's really unbelievable to me. Okay. The White House is not on Tyler Perry's back lot. All right. As much as you want to put that out there, I don't believe that. I believe there are people in this movement who are strongly supported, without naming names. And I'll give you an example without naming names. They're very anti-Israel right now, for example. And they're very vocal with a large platform. There is a lot of deception going on out here in internet land. And I'm not here to tell you, just follow me. Not at all. There's still a lot of great people out there. And I've always talked highly about them. but it's time that somebody calls it out. I'm willing to take one for the team tonight. And what I mean by that, because I know for a fact, because you've told me privately, a lot of you are afraid to say what I'm saying and call people out because you know you're going to get blocked or shunned or talked about. What is going on right now is not a movie. That is the biggest line of BS that I have ever heard. And I've said that for years. Because if this is a movie going on right now, look, I've said, popcorn and all that stuff. I have never said that this is a movie, ever. Do you know why? Because people are dying. War is going on. People are dying. I have buried people during the Q movement as a direct result of heroin and fentanyl overdosed, friends and family. I have buried them. If this was a movie, we wouldn't have to worry about those things. So if you're going to tell me this is a movie, but Donald Trump is allowing us still to have our kids, our family, or whatever get a hold of these drugs that are pouring into our country, this is the biggest crock I've ever heard. This is as real gets. The war is real. I'm not saying everything is on the up and up. There is a lot of deception. I warned you guys back on October 7th, a couple years ago, when that war broke out between Hamas and Israel and the attack. I said it live on the air. I said, don't get involved. Take a 40,000-foot view. It is so complicated. It's meant to be complicated. It was designed to be complicated. And look how complicated it is tonight. As far as Donald Trump goes, here's my review of Donald Trump, and I will tell you the good and the bad. The good, I think he's doing an amazing job. I think he's doing stellar job. Okay? I know a lot of people are waiting for arrest and everything. My opinion on the arrest right now, it is going forward, but it's not going forward in the way that we thought. I really believe, again, this is not a movie. What we are witnessing is very real because of the judges, the corruption in the judicial system, the judges that are being appointed to these people who are starting to get indicted. All right. And I know people will say exposure, but I think we're really up against it. And I think if we really knew the truth behind the scenes, if the curtain was really pulled back, most of us would be scared shitless knowing that particular truth, that we're really in a war here in this country. Now, I've been the guy to come on here and instill hope in you, and I'm still that guy, and I'm still going to do it, and I'm not blowing smoke up your keister because we are headed in a good direction, as scary as it may look right now, as concerning to some of you as it may look. Okay, somebody just said at the beginning of the show they're concerned about civil war, and that seems to be the new talk. All right. Again, I absolutely believe a new world awaits. I believe and trust the plan. There is a plan, no question. I mean, regardless, there's always a plan. Of course, Donald Trump has a plan coming into this. All right. But I think people need to come to the realization this is a very real plan. It's unfolding. I'm seeing it for these 9 months unfolding. Okay. Maybe not in our time, the way it's going, but it's happening. It's really happening. I think it's going to continue to happen. But again, I do not see anything where one day we're just going to get breaking news that all these people are locked up in Gitmo, or that Joe Biden wasn't Joe Biden. He was wearing a mask for 4 years. Okay. Those were probably the most terrifying times that this nation has ever seen was under Joe Biden's presidency. It was quite frightful. Here's my concern. and this is my criticism of President Trump, um, JD Vance, Dan Scavino, um, and even Bruce Snyder, because I am guilty as charged with the following. And what I'm guilty as charged with, and all those people I named, are adding to the division. I see that now. We may think it's harmless to continually put out posts and memes and criticize the left, and I get that. And I get where it can be harmless. But I'm very convinced now that we are at a very critical time where that needs to stop. I don't know what to tell you here, because I'm going to be honest. I do not see something on the horizon where this country is going to unite. I can't see it. There's nothing in sight for me to see. One of our sides, I understand about standing strong and being tough and not backing down and not taking any crap. That I'm for. But adding to the division is not wise. And I'm guilty as charged. Okay. I know when I'm exposing craziness and lunacy, like at these rallies and stuff, and I know how brainwashed the other side is. I'm not taking their side. I know how brainwashed they are. But us just continually adding to the division is not helping. Some of you are going to disagree with me on that because you enjoy that type of thing. I have too, and I'm guilty of it, like I said. But I just don't know how we get to that point, because I constantly think about, let's just say we arrested everybody tomorrow. You got your wish. Okay. Breaking news, you wake up, they arrested, 200 different people. It's the biggest news story on earth. Well, fantastic. But there's only one problem with that. Okay. A big portion of the country is still divided. Okay. You may have gotten out the dirty players, but how do we bring back this country? How do we help? We're all a part of it. Where we go one, we go all. We are not helping whatsoever by putting lies out on the internet. I'm not your parent. I'm not here to school you. You're going to do what you're going to do. I know better than that. One thing I know in life, one of the most important things I know in life, people are going to do what they want to do. I'm not going to be able to convince you. I know how that works. Especially the older you get set in your ways. But it takes a real effort and a responsibility to try and be a part of the solution and be a part of the change. Some of that change right now is people they have to stop with this craziness and all this lunacy of QFS and the quantum and all this money we're going to get. I'm sorry. I'm at a point now. I don't buy it. You've asked me about Nassar Jassara. I came out and truthfully told you I don't buy it. It doesn't make sense to me. I think we'll all get something back, a little bit back when the time comes. Okay. But I know people that are literally sitting around waiting for a check in the mail to come from Donald Trump. I don't know why you're wasting your time. Okay. That day may come soon, hopefully, but I wouldn't even count on it. Okay. I think it's important to move forward and not worry about that right now. Again, there are a lot of things that I'm putting out here tonight that I'm telling the truth about, because I'm pretty much sick and tired of seeing it constantly, and still to this day. I'm sure my comment section, and I haven't looked at it, it's probably madness. And I'm not here to throw anybody. I'm not naming any names. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I see it everywhere. X, Facebook, Telegram, all over the place, every single day. I'm like, I am in a swamp. Talking about draining the swamp, I am in a swamp every single day of lies and deceit and deception and BS. And this is coming from our side. It's coming from the other side. And it's coming from a side that is being paid cause division. I mean, what's the answer? I mean, I don't know. But Trump, okay, I blame him for some of this division. We laugh. I'm guilty of laughing. I love laughter. I love humor every single day. It's important to me. But I'm guilty. And I'm trying to be an adult right now and be responsible and say, you know what? This has to stop somewhere. These lies and deception on the internet and this adding to the division has to stop because this is going in a very, very bad direction. Again, I think Donald Trump is doing an amazing job. I think he's done a lot more than any president ever has. I think he's on the right path. I think he's still up against the opposition, where going back to me saying this is not a movie, this man is up against it. And his life is probably in danger every single day. I know people are waiting for me to go down the rabbit hole of Charlie Kirk. I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Because right now, truth be told, and you can unfollow me, I watched a man get killed on live on the internet. Is what I watched. I know every conspiracy. I've heard them all. The people that were there, the underground thing that was there, which I know that what that was for. The hologram, not touching the camera, touching the camera, not being close. Look, I have a lot of questions too. I am with you on that one. But that's probably why I say I'm not touching that because it's pretty darn too early for me to touch that. And right now, me wasting, I'm not gonna use the word wasting, but me putting all my time into that is not going to serve me in any way. There's a lot more going on in the world right now. Look, and I haven't even looked at the news. Maybe we're at massive war again. I could easily come on here and tell you and talk about Israel, and I could talk about Hamas. I'll clear that air up right now. Okay, Hamas needs to be eradicated from the face of the earth. I think we've done too much pussyfooting around with these terrorists. I think way too much. There's one thing I'm critical of. I shouldn't be critical of President Trump because I know it's not our war, but I know the complexity of it, and I know about Israel. Look, again, I know a lot of people will go on and say, Hamas, Israel created Hamas and all this other stuff. These are unsubstantiated things, but at the same time, I'm not saying you're wrong because I've been around long enough and seen enough and read enough and studied enough and researched enough to understand to never trust any government whatsoever. And you guys know that. I have a lot of questions when it comes to October 7th because of the Hamas getting over that most secured border in the world. Yes, I think that the Israeli government or Mossad was behind it. That's where I stand. But I don't have enough information. And I may never be privy to that information. None of us may ever be. But right now, I can tell you this. Not only do I trust God, but I'm going to trust the man that I voted for. I think he's doing a great job. We're human. We all have character defects and flaws. We all fall short. And Donald Trump does fall short in some areas. He's human. We're all human. But I'm looking at a clock right now. And we are 9 months in. I know we got three more years to go, but that's going to go like that. And my main concern is uniting this country. And not only uniting this country, we're going to have to re-educate an entire generation. It's going to take years to do all that. But for us to get to that point, like I said to you, I can't change your mind. I can't tell you what to do. That's one thing I've learned in life. People are not going to do that. The older you get, the more set in your ways you are. How do we approach this? Because nobody wants to be told what to do. So somebody needs to find the answer. Why do you think I posted yesterday on my timeline about having a rational discussion? I invited somebody from the left. I said, I know I got a lot of trolls out here from the left. I want to know what you're protesting. I want you to come to my platform. I said, I promise you nobody will attack you. And I want to have a rational discussion about this. I haven't gone back to it since yesterday, but um, I don't know if I got any takers on it. But the reason I did that, and let Charlie Kirk be the example. This is exactly what Charlie Kirk was trying to do. And Kirk took a bullet for it. They killed him because they didn't want to have a rational conversation. And I'm sorry, but that is what it's going to take. We have to come to the table. So again, if I go back tonight's show, nobody's coming to save us. All right. Donald Trump's going to do what we have to do, but this is a collective. This is about being united and unity, getting involved in our own communities, getting involved in our own backyard. And if you're sitting around right now thinking, all right, because of all the Q drops and even the Q drops I post over here, that is just information. That is just a way to say, okay, we're approaching here, we're approaching there. That's the way I feel. Doesn't mean there's some grand wizard behind the scene and they're going to come save us. I think that's what it was intended to do because something like that keeps us united. But let's get real right now. Nobody's coming to save us. Okay. And all this craziness, all this madness online. This is a movie and everybody's locked up and they're in Gitmo and all this stuff. And somebody over here tells you, I know all the laws of the law of war manuals, but I'm going to treat you like a piece of shit. I'm going to yell at you, but I'm smart enough. I know better than you. These are the people you're dealing with. This is the madness that's going on out here. Yes, I still believe in a new world. And it's going to take us as a collective to do this. That's why the Q said the ending won't be for everybody because there is no magical ending. This is years and years to come, and it's our responsibility to pass this on to our children. So I think I got that off my chest tonight. And I'm about to give me 1 second before you start commenting. I'm sure it's crazy. I'll bring your comments back up. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to them right now. So if you might have commented already, I'm not going back through these comments. All right. But going to have to comment again starting right now. I want to know if you agree or disagree with me. And please feel free to disagree with me if you want. That's fine. And I'll bring it on I'll bring it on your screen. And I will gladly allow you to say whatever it is you want to say about me if I offended you. Okay. Like this, like Kevin Butler says, central casting. That's complete bullshit. Okay. Why? Because Trump says central casting and everybody freaks out because, wait, did you hear Trump say central casting? And the internet blows up. Why don't you look up what central casting really means in politics? It's not what people think. This is not in a back lot of some movie studio. I'm telling it like it is tonight. This is the stuff that is out here. And the stuff that's being spread is instilling false hope and lies into other people. With that being said, I'm not here whatsoever. Okay, whatsoever. I got to refresh my comments. I apologize. So I'm bringing them on your screen. So let's start now. I didn't have them refreshed. Okay. All right. So people are agreeing with me. People are afraid. They're scared. They're very scared. Look, I have thousands of followers, and I realized that before coming on the air tonight. And I realized, okay, you're going to rock the boat. I'm not here to rock the boat. I'm here to tell the truth. And again, I am willing to take one for the team because I know a lot of you out there are scared, and it's okay. It's okay because it's very exhausting what's going on out there. It's mentally draining. It does a number on your psyche, and it F's with your spiritual discernment. So if anything at all, I'm willing to stand up and tell people to stop doing that shit. It's gotten out of a hand. It's gone on for years. It's too much. It's causing a problem. If you want to be a part of this movement, and I believe I'm a part of it, and I believe many of you are, we want the truth. We've gotten to a point where we're sick and tired of being lied to. We don't care. Don't sugarcoat anything anymore. I want facts. I want truth, not unsubstantiated claims. You can't come on the internet and say so-and-so's and Gitmo and this and that with no proof. You're adding to the problem. This is getting crazy out here. I want no part of it. And if you're going to label me now, then do it. Go to your now this is the part I'm talking. Go to your crazy Q side. I'm not denouncing Q because I think there's something authentic there because Trump is using it. But there's been misinformation and people have grabbed it and they've created this online thing where it's complete bullshit and they keep ramming it down your throat and they keep saying it like it's gospel with not one single fact or piece of evidence whatsoever. It's just based on trust me, bro. I'm going to go to some of your comments. Can't give up now. Heck no. I am not giving up in any way. And neither are you. And I know that. I'm not giving up because I know there is a lot of truth here. All right. There's a real war going on right now. And it's dangerous. Okay. People are dying in Russia and Ukraine. People are dying in Israel and Gaza. That's not fake. I know there's a lot of propaganda. I get that. Okay. And there's a lot of shit to sift through. I understand that. It's with every war and the propaganda and the lies. We've been trying very hard for years to put the truth out. But I'm telling you, and I never have been, I want no part of the things I discussed tonight. I don't want no part of it. I don't want to be a part of that community. I don't want to be part of that, whatever you call yourself as a movement. I think it sits alone. It sits by itself. And I think it is an absolute waste of time. And I think people do that because they want one thing, and that is attention. If you want attention, then get off the internet. Go get right with God. You get all the attention in the world there and a lot of peace and comfort. Yes, our biggest hurdle is the justice system. No question about it. I think that maybe you're absolutely correct. The biggest hurdle right now. If you watch these people getting indicted and the judges that are being appointed to them, this is real, folks. No question about it. And how this ends, I don't know. But if we stay strong and we stay united and we stop with the BS that I've been discussing, okay, this is how it's going to work. We have to stay united. We have to stay strong. And if we're going to have conversations like this tonight, we have to have the ability to agree to disagree and not run away like the lunatic left does. You go and ask them a question, you stump them, and they don't have an answer, and they take off or they become violent. That is not who we are. It is time for us to stand up, put the truth out, and know the truth that you're putting out. And be a part of the solution. I can tell you right now on the air that I am going to try and do better. As much as I love humor and antagonizing the other side, I'm going to try my hardest to pull back on that. I'm going to be careful what I'm exposing or making fun of. Because you guys saw those pictures I put up of my 2 grandchildren. They're the cutest in the world. And so are your grandchildren. And I'm sure of it. And I know many of you adore your grandchildren. All of you do. I want a better world for these kids. I am so serious as a heart attack right now. And if I got to do this standing alone, I'll do it alone. And if it takes me to lose 34,000 followers and people to call me wrong, fine, so be it. I'll do this by myself because I am not giving up. And I am not going to conform anymore to a movement just because they think they know what they're talking about and they got all this bullshit that people are locked up and Gitmo and tribunals have happened already. I want no part of that. Those people are a cancer to this movement. And I know I lost a handful of people tonight. I know it. And nobody else is going to say it. I'm going to say it. You are a cancer to this movement right now in the truth. You are not helping whatsoever. A lot of comments coming in. I can guarantee you one thing right there. There's no question that we are cleaning house. We are definitely cleaning house. Okay. But let me remind you again, the war is real. There's nothing fake about this. This is not a backlot studio. And the reason I'm so passionate about that, because I get pissed off every time that somebody says this is a movie, and I automatically, my mindset goes to the people that I buried as a direct result of the shit that's been pouring over our border, the poison that's been coming over our border, and the people I had to bury as a direct result of these drugs. Because if it was a movie, right? Nobody would be dying like this. This stuff wouldn't be happening. It is madness. Donald Trump is going into all these cities to clean up the crime, and the enemy is working overtime to stop him. We are in a real war. I will never come on this show or on my platforms ever and tell you this is fake and it's just a movie and to enjoy the show. That is insanity. Now, for those of you who disagree with me, fine. I hope you'll still stay on board. And I'll say it again. I will gladly come on here. I have no problem coming on here if JFK Jr. comes out behind the curtain and we find out that Hillary Clinton and all these people have been gitmoed and already tried and hung. I will gladly come on here and I will say, you were right. I was wrong. And I'll retire. I will. I'll hang it up because that means I'm not smart enough or don't have enough discernment to do this job. Things have gotten so out of hand, and the division is getting worse, not just between right and left, but it's getting worse in what I'll just use the word movement on our side, on the MAGA side. It is getting worse. And let me tell you, that other side sees that. They see that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and turn this into a Candace Owens show or any of those other people, but that is causing a lot of division right now. There is a time and there is a place. There's a way to do things responsible and professionally. There's also a way to do things to get paid. These people are adding to the division, and they are out for one thing only, and that is themselves. Self-interest. I'm going to go to some of your comments. There's a human loss of life in wars. Our wars were all bankrolled. I completely agree. The war of good versus evil is real, taking down the ones that caused all the other wars caused by the Khazarian mafia. Look, there's a lot of truth to that. No question about that. I'm not sure which part, whatever you're pledging. Um, but I think I get it. Look, and let me say something about that, Mark. Okay. I want the world to hear this. My little small world here. I am super duper proud of President Trump having the courage, having the stamina, and having the balls to take on the cartel. There's a lot more going on with Venezuela when it comes to just the cartel. There's a lot to do with China, okay? But I'm not going to get into all that right now tonight. But he's going after the cartel. We're up against it. This is a very, very dangerous time in world history, in American history. I know this. And I would be lying to you. I would be absolutely lying to you if I said I wasn't worried about waking up in the morning and finding out a very terrible thing happened. Because if you think these people are, and you've seen it, they're going to give up power that easily, they're not. If you think the cartel is going to roll over, they're not. I've been on those streets. I was a drug addict. I know what goes on, and I know the profit. It is a world I will never, ever, I will kill myself before I ever enter that world again. I want nothing to do with it. It is the underbelly of evil. And they are going to fight because it's a very, very, probably the most profitable business on earth. That drugs next to human trafficking and guns. Do you think they're just going to give up? No, they're not. They're not. So I guess I went off on a little tangent tonight. I'm sick of the BS. I said it out loud. I want nothing to do with that. You're going to do what you want to do. You're going to keep pushing that propaganda, those unsubstantiated claims about people died, buried, locked up in mass. You're not helping anyone at all. Stay focused. Stay on the subject that matters. Stay on the current event. Pay attention to President Trump. Look what's most important right now. This is why I haven't gone down a Charlie Kirk rabbit hole, because I know that would take me completely away of what's very important at the moment. I know how to focus. I've been given that gift of discernment and where to focus and keep my attention at. And I don't allow anything to sway me. And the reason for that is because I've been granted grace by God for another chance in life, who allowed him to pull me out of the darkness depths of hell, of the world I was once in. And I got out of the way and I listened. And tonight, with me talking and talking directly to you, this is not me. This is the Holy Spirit. I can't do this on my own. I can't get fired up like this on my own without sounding at least somewhat reasonable. He has a few shortfalls, like I said, but I give Donald Trump an A so far, an A minus so far. I just don't know where we go, folks, when it comes. Okay. When it comes, I'm going to try and get to a couple of years. Okay. I just don't know what we're going to do when it comes to uniting this country. I posted earlier tonight, and that was intentional about, what did I say? I said something like, what were my exact words? The world you and I grew up in is gone. I'm just here for the ride. And I mean that. The world is gone. I'm not just talking about, yeah, I'd love to go back to the 80s. I'm not just talking about that. It's gone. It is gone. The mindset is gone. The things that we really valued or cherished, not necessarily with you and I, because we're probably, we're a little older, but for this world now, it's gone. Technology has become the new idol, the new false god. If you don't know how to use this technology responsibly, you're in big trouble. And I realize that world is never, ever coming back. But if we're going to move forward and we're moving into a new world, and a lot of it has to do with technology, and this is only the beginning of AI. Like I said, in 1 year from now, I'm talking about truth tonight. I'm telling truth tonight, and I'm calling out stuff that I don't believe is truth. What I'm talking about tonight will be mere peanuts compared to 1 year from now when you will not be able to differentiate, to discern what's real and what's not. Because that's how incredible AI is becoming every single day. I say it again, it's cute with the babies and all the little videos they're putting out now. That's cute. There's great things in AI, but there are things that I don't know what is going to happen in about a year or so from now. The world is going to be a different place. There is no question in my mind. And I'm preparing for that. I am preparing for that time now because we're not going to be having these conversations in a year from now about propaganda and the internet, like what we're talking about, what I spoke about. We're going to think my messenger's flooded now. People are going to be flooding each other. Is this real? Is this not? I mean, I have to come up with an entire new game plan. I know it's coming, and on a way to report the truth and to keep saying what's a lie and what's not. It's going to be hard, and it's going to get hard for me. And because I know it's going to get so good, and we're right around the corner, that what we've gone through these past 8 years, whatever, is going to be a walk in the park compared to what's coming. And it's here. It is here. I use AI every day, but I use it for work purposes. Okay. I use it for some research a little bit, but I use it for work purposes, and it's wonderful. It's really wonderful. But there is going to be an evil side to this, and it's going to be what we're walking into, ladies and gentlemen. I just can't even wrap my mind around because I know it's coming. It's here, but it's going to come in full force. Mark my words. I know you already know. People are saying hey, he's going to be part of the beast system. In my opinion, I mean that's possible. I know a lot of people are talking about that. Again, it comes down to how we use these things. But there's not. Here's the reality check. Unless the nuclear bombs are dropped and the world needs to start over, this AI is going forward. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, to stop it. And the reason Donald Trump is involved is because there's a race, just like a nuclear arms race. Donald Trump is trying to get ahead. I truly believe that. He is trying to get ahead of China, the competition. I think he is aware of how out of control this can really get. And it's worrisome because here's why. We have not policed the internet since the birth of the internet. Okay. They policed it to silence you. They've silenced the truth. But as far as protecting our children, anybody can go and with a click of a button and see whatever they want to see. There's no policing in that. So if we failed at policing the internet, which I always think the internet should have been policed some way, shape, or form, at least for our children. How the hell are we going to police AI? I have no idea. I don't have a clue. All I know is, again, I'm here for the ride, and I'm going to do my damnedest to keep putting the truth out there and report the truth and help and do my part and be a part of the solution and not be a part of the problem. Yeah, I need a flip phone. Hey, I still have a landline. Never know. You never know. All right. Comments are going crazy. Oh, boy. Oh, got into a little bit of AI. All right. So here's what I like to do. I like to backtrack a little bit. I went off on my little tangent. Okay. Um, let's backtrack a little bit here in the comments before I leave the air. The things I said earlier tonight. Do you agree or disagree? Feel free to call me out. I probably missed it, and you did. because the comments are going fast and I started talking again. I'm going to focus on the comments right now. Okay. And let's see if what we can talk about. I said this because um, I think it's a discussion that needs to be had. And I know there's a lot of people out there who feel like I do. And I know you have to be absolutely tired, mentally drained, exhausted of the bullshit on the internet of everything I discussed tonight. And that's this these people are part of our movement, supposedly. Okay, there's a lot of agrees. That's good. Good. I feel better that I'm not insane. I'm only asking because I'm just asking myself, am I nuts? Am I the one who's wrong? Is it really that evil out here in madness? Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yes, and look it, there's nothing wrong with questioning everything. I've never said that. I'm not saying you said I said that, but people have said called me out on it. Question everything. Nothing wrong with it. But be responsible with the information that you gather from questioning everything. Oh boy, you want me to touch that one right there? I know what you're talking about, Claudia. Yeah, I know. I saw that the other day. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say, and I'll put the best possible analogy to it. And I'll be honest with you right now. I'll be 100% honest. I believe Donald Trump believes in God. I believe he grew closer to God after the bullet. Um, but he's so damn busy that I am afraid he doesn't give just a little bit of his time to God. And I don't know. Look, I'm not judging. All right. But the things he said in this one particularly, I have prayed for him. Okay. We're all on a different level. We are all in a different time in a season when it comes to our spiritual walk. And we all get to one point faster or slower than others. But I think at the end of the day, I think God is using Donald Trump. Okay. Like God used Saul, Apostle Paul, or anybody that he used in the Bible. And maybe Donald Trump's season of coming closer to the Lord will be later after his presidency. I don't know these things, but I understand what you're talking about. But I just think he's in a season right now, and him being super duper busy is can be a crutch. Can definitely be a crutch. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you know what? Be truthful with you. I try to be. And that's why I put earlier there's no reward without the risk. And this is what I was talking about doing this tonight. Because I know I offended some people. I know I did. And it wasn't meant to, because I know there are people who follow me who push that stuff out there. Thank you. I'm not here to stroke my ego. I'm just here to find out if the majority of us are on the same page here. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. There you go. Wonderful. Good. And me taking that risk tonight, and knowing that I probably lost some people and probably got some hate mail, but at least you know where I stand. Okay. And I think it's very important for everybody who comes to my pages on a daily basis to know who I am, where I stand, where I've come from. People will share people online without knowing their real name, without having a real profile pic, know nothing about them, but share their work as if it's complete gospel. Don't you think that's a little alarming? I've done it, no question about it, because some of those accounts are really good and they make sense, and I agree with them. But there are quite a few accounts out there, folks, that, whew, I don't understand it. So I'll challenge this one. I don't know about who's real and not real. Many actors and actresses look way different than they did in the past. I studied their faces, height, it's real. Why are they so different? It's either mask clones or being replaced. What's about that? So let's back way up. Okay. I think when you ask a question, what I do is I ask, what do they have to gain from that? Is the first question I always ask. If somebody has been replaced or in a mask, I say, okay, for what purpose? Why? I mean, I can get some, I get it. Like somebody like maybe, I don't know. Look, I'm not starting one here, but I'm just an example. Maybe Elvis faked his death because he was too overwhelmed with the world and he wanted just to go out in peace and live alone. I get that part, but it depends who you're exactly talking about. This can go many different ways. Okay. And I have seen some things, and I'll say it now. I've seen some things where I thought during at times that wasn't the real Joe Biden. Look, every single president across in the world has doubles, triples, etc. They have stand-ins. There's no question about that. Putin has several. Trump has some. I don't know how many. That's real. That's real. That's not a conspiracy theory. But let me put again. Let me put a spin on this. Nothing in Q told us about masks and all that stuff, but I'm not denouncing Q at all because there is reality to it. President Trump is using it every day. Okay. So is Scavino. They're using comms. They're talking to us. That's important. I was just pointing out how something got so sidetracked into this craziness that got started online and still being pushed today. All right. I can't stop it. I know that. Just little old me. All right. But I'm just telling you where I stand. I don't agree with it at all. And I don't buy it. I don't believe in it. Thank you. Well, a lot of people are concerned about a new digital banking system. We are headed in a direction that can be frightening or scary to some. And look, let me say this too as well. And I know we could talk biblical about this because a one world currency, and we can go down that road. But at the same time, not just about a digital banking system, but everything. Here's the one thing I do know. People fear change, and they're uncomfortable with change, especially older folks like myself. We're uncomfortable with change. I'm like, I can adapt easily. I'm okay with that. I'm very easily to adapt. But most people they fear what they don't know, and they're uncomfortable about change. They fear it so much that it's automatically people cast it out as it's the devil, it's evil. When in, I'm not saying this is okay, but um, people just cast it out and they don't give it a chance or they don't look at every possibility of what if the world changed this way, what are the benefits, good or bad, etc. That's my point on that. Okay. Thank you, Heather. Believe me, there are days that I question my own sanity, and I have a feeling that the majority of you do the same thing in the privacy of your own homes, saying, am I crazy? That's how crazy it's got out here. Yes, yes, yes. You're right. Sometimes we must take a break from all of it. It's just too exhausting. Look, I took a weekend off was it last weekend? That was wonderful. And I absolutely did nothing. I just binge watched. I did nothing. I needed it so bad. And look, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, all I want to do, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, is unite people. I brag about the Facebook community that you guys have helped create, the camaraderie, the togetherness, This is why I'm doing projects like, for example, you saw the women's Bible study, and there's other things coming because I believe in my heart of hearts that community is so essential. Now, I know we live in a new world and a lot of it's digital. Fine, if that's the road we're going to go, then let me find the positive in that and use it responsibly. Because I know when I was in my dark depths of hell in alcoholism and addiction, there's no way on earth that I could have got sober by myself or accomplished the things I did without the community that was given to me and the people that were put into my life and Alcoholics Anonymous, etc. Okay. That's where that comes from when I talk about the community. When I hear where we go, when we go all, I have experience with that. And a lot of people out here listening to me tonight are recovered alcoholics and addicts, and they understand exactly what I am talking about. And it's so important. It is so important, especially in a day and age now where everybody seems to be just living at home, not going out, and we're not communicating with other earthlings. We have to have community. Okay. Well, I'm way behind on these comments. Okay. Yes, I agree. Bible study is very important. Should at least take 10 minutes out of your day. Take 10 minutes out of your day. This is definitely the best Patriot family community out here. Thank you. And I appreciate that. And because when I say thank you, I realize I was the one to start the page and start all that. But I say thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. Just because I may be at the helm steering the ship, I'm a part of you guys. Okay. And I understand that today. Old self back in the day, years ago, ego would have gotten in the way. Today, I understand what it takes wisdom, humility, and being grateful. And I am grateful for each and every one of you. And that is the truth. Thank you. I appreciate that. I need to do it more often. Uh, so, anyways, I hope I didn't rock the boat tonight too much. Let me see something before I go off the air. Oh, no. One second. Let me read something. Okay. Somebody's actually, I just had to check my messages. Somebody was giving me a private message and saying how proud they were of me tonight. See, I don't need that. Okay. It doesn't go to my head. But when somebody says, I'm proud of you for what you said tonight and standing up, because that is the courage. Okay. That comes from my discernment that says, do it. I told you guys many times, I put a post up and there's sometimes it'll sit there half an hour before I hit send or I take it down because it doesn't feel right. I listen to everything I do in my life. I listen for the answer. And tonight was one of those. I didn't have this planned. This morning, I didn't have this show planned this way. Something happened during the day today that drove me to talk about this. That's discernment. That's having the ability or the courage to listen and do and act upon that. And I did. I spoke the truth from my heart, risking being scrutinized, whatever. But those things don't bother me today. They really don't. Even though I'm talking about it, it doesn't. Of course, I don't want to lose people. I want to keep people together. I really do. And look, I have so much that I have not even touched yet that I want to present. And I know I've been teasing it and talking about it. We're very close. That it's going to take another direction. The news is going to stay, but there's going to be more, and you're seeing it. The women's Bible study, the first tip of the iceberg. Okay, I have other things that are coming, and I just know the timing of this is right. And now the slow rollout is starting. And it's thanks to all you guys that I'm able to do that. I have a lot of good to offer the world. There was a time in my life where I did nothing but inject poison into myself and everybody around me. When I changed, and God graced me, I said, never again. And I'm going to do good no matter what it takes. And that's what I want to do. I want to give away what was freely given to me. And if that takes speaking truth and people hating me, fine. That's the risk I have to take. All right. And that's a great comment right there. God is good. God is very good. Now, one thing I'll say too, I recently had a podcast. Oh, yeah, right. There you go. I recently had a podcast talking about people like Neville Goddard, talking about your thinking and everything else. That is something I'm extremely passionate about. Okay. Um, and I am going to do more shows about that. That area there, um, I do have a lot to offer, and I know how to present it because there's one thing in life that I know that we all should do, and that is to encourage one another, lift one another up, never step on anybody's neck, okay? But lift each other up and support one another because the words of encouragement um, can go so far with somebody. You have no idea with just a little bit of kindness and encouragement to somebody else that you can change their whole world. Those are the things that are important to me. You could be right. I'm still on the fence about that scare event. There are things forming right now that could be leading to that very, very, very soon. So we'll see what happens with that. See, I don't know. The real things are going on, but I don't know what's going on behind the scenes when it comes to the unity. Look at here. I'll say this. This is important to bring up right now. Okay. What, and I'll say this today because you woke up this morning, you saw breaking news that Hamas violated the ceasefire agreement. Um, and then people are saying Israel did, and that will always go back and forth. It's madness. The point being, okay, is that what Donald Trump did, set aside the ceasefire right now, okay? He brought the region together when he went over there. Okay. We all watched it together. I streamed it. He brought them together. I've never witnessed anything like that. They signed that agreement together. That is the unity. That's the step towards a new world. I am keeping a very close eye on the move President Trump is going to make right now. I'm on the wall because I saw earlier that he told Israel to stand down. They have apparently listened, and he wants to give this ceasefire another go. It isn't going to last too much longer before a trigger is pulled. I know that, but I want to see who unites together. The world is changing. There is change happening. Just because I called out some BS tonight and was very honest about it, doesn't mean that we're not headed to a great place. The war is real. There are very concerning things and there are very scary things going on out here in this world. Things that we should pray about that concern us. Okay. But at the same time, I can see us heading into that new world. All right. I've talked about it before and I'm not backtracking on that. All right. It's just more real than most people probably anticipated. Okay. And we are in the fight of good and evil at the end of the day in every aspect of our lives. Propaganda, lies on the internet, wars, famine, all this stuff. It's real. But anyways, okay, guys, I think that's it. And there's a perfect comment to end the show on. Pray without ceasing. Pray without ceasing. All right, guys, that's it. I am out of here. Have a blessed night. Appreciate y'all, and I'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye.